This time, I'm testing a fully 3D printed F-86 Sabre aircraft model, with the entire body made completely out of PLA. The total printing time was 150 hours, and assembly took 18 hours. Honestly, 3D lab print early product really aren't worth playing with. It usually takes a lot of time and effort, and the price for just a single 90mm duct fan unit is seriously scary. If you are a beginner in the world of model airplanes, please believe me, after watching this video, you will definitely lose your passion for buying this model airplane. But if you are a flying master who pursues speed and passion, then please enjoy the flying show brought by model airplane enthusiast CYX first. To be honest, just watching this plane fly is really enjoyable. But if you ask me to fly it myself, it's not just an RC plane I'm flying. It's my own heartbeat. Still, to ensure the stability of large-scale RC aircraft, we usually add a flight stabilizer. For example, we tend to recommend using the A3S4 flight stabilizer. It provides flight assistance for the aircraft. But honestly, when the 3D lab print was designing the internal layout of this plane, they were really stingy with space. Trying to fit a flight stabilizer inside this aircraft is really pushing it to the limit. First of all, the 90mm duct fan mid-mounted layout is already a bit of a headache. It's really confusing, and on top of that, a bunch of servos have to be crammed into the sides of the duct inside the fuselage, while still leaving space for two 3S batteries connected in series as a 6S pack. Then you have to fit in the ESC and sort out all the wiring. Honestly, building a computer isn't even as much of a headache as assembling this. Looking at the tangled mess of wires, then at the flight stabilizer in my hand, I just feel like giving up. And from the actual flight experience, this mid-mounted duct fan setup really has a huge impact on the plane's power. Not only is the entire duct not sealed, but the exhaust nozzle at the back is also obviously way too long. Anyone who's fond of RC planes should know that if the nozzle is too long, it increases airflow resistance and creates a counterforce on the plane, which reduces the total thrust. That's why, even when taking off with a 90mm duct fan, it still feels a bit underpowered. I actually haven't really flown large duct fan planes before, so this is my first time. To be honest, I'm pretty nervous. But this plane has already been flown twice by the professional earlier, and it seems to be in good shape. So this time, I'm going to personally take it up for 2 flights, and if I manage to land it safely, please make sure to give me a like, comment, and subscribe. And alright, let's take off now. Alright, let's get ready to hit the runway. The wind's looking pretty good today, though there's a bit of a crosswind. This airfield? Yeah, it's solid overall. Maybe the sun's a tad intense. Probably shouldn't have worn this black shirt today, but oh well, it's not a big deal. Alright, here we go. Time to take off. Full throttle, let's do this. She's a bit underpowered, but, whoa, we're airborne. Nice, we're up. Retracting the landing gear now. Man, she's flying steady. I'm pushing full throttle to climb as fast as I can. Not quite ready to pull back the flaps yet. Her speed's still a bit low. Seems like she's handling better at higher altitudes. Oh, the wind's picking up. Alright, I'm retracting the flaps from the first position and going for a low pass over the runway. Dropping altitude slightly, easing off the throttle a bit. Crosswind's making this a little tricky. I'm feeling a pressure, but nailed it. Nice. That was a low pass. Okay, maybe not that low. I'm playing it a bit safe. Stability's looking good, thanks to the A3S4 stabilization system. She's holding up nicely. Time to make a turn. Wow, she's losing a lot of speed in the turn. Alright, that's enough flying for now. Let's prep for landing. Man, this is intense. Deploying the landing gear, gear down and locked. Setting up for a left side approach. Lowering flaps to first position. I'm not going full flaps for this landing. It's a bit tricky to control. Let's ease her down gently with flaps in first position. Lining up with the runway, adding just a touch of throttle to counter that crosswind. Descending now. Looking good. Sweet, we're down. Nice one. Deploying the speed brakes now. Speed brakes are out, waiting for her to slow down. Gotta stay focused, no early turns at this point. Alright, we've come to a stop. Now let's taxi back nice and easy. Based on the real flying experience above, I believe all of you already have an answer in mind about whether you want to get this plane. But as usual, our studio will still introduce the specific configuration and flight parameters of this aircraft. For the power setup, we've chosen the famous 90mm duct fan, paired with an X-Flight 100A ESC, and powered by two 3S batteries connected in series to provide 6S power. In theory, the thrust-to-weight ratio can exceed 1, but due to nozzle length and plane weight, it may be hard to actually achieve a thrust-to-weight ratio over 1. The aircraft has fully functional wings and speed brakes, and can also be equipped with retractable landing gear. For more playability, you can remove this carbon rod and optionally install these two fuel tanks, which are mostly for show. The entire aircraft is printed with silk PLA, giving it a top-notch look and texture. Here in our studio, we use silk PLA from Sabre, which not only replicates the real aircraft's silver look, but also provides enough strength in the material itself. The only small suggestion is to reduce the cooling rate to 25% during printing, or even turn off cooling as needed, which will give you better print results. The detailed specifications and cost breakdown for the whole aircraft are shown in the diagram. Here, it's important to note that the A3S4 flight stabilizer is optional. Experienced pilots can of course use their preferred flight controller, but for beginners, I wouldn't recommend flying with this setup for your first time. But speaking of 86, I wonder if another classic 86 might have been part of your childhood too. Although my childhood wasn't really influenced by Initial D, the A86 couldn't stand up to the reality of Mercedes, and the F-86 also lost to the MiG-37. I can't deny that the F-86 Sabre is a great aircraft, but when it's made with 3D printing, it's really just a plastic Sabre. In a time of peace, it clearly has no rivals anymore. But what history leaves us with might not just be memories, but also the joy of flying it ourselves, so I'm happy to share all of this with you. For this episode, everyone in the studio gives the F-86 Sabre fighter jet a recommendation rating of 2.4 stars. The relatively complete flight functions do provide a pretty good flying experience, but the outdated design and setup mean the cost of parts and time is much higher than with newer designs. If you really want to get this F-86, personally, I would still recommend buying a ready-made model. That's all for the main content of this episode. Thank you all for your support. It's because of you that our video series has entered the jet era. In the future, we'll recommend more modern and fun-to-play aircraft, so please like, comment, and follow. If there are any planes you're looking forward to, leave a comment and join the discussion. This really helps us as we continue to grow. This is Kitey Studio. See you next episode.